What's up everyone, and welcome to another episode here on NRV Outdoors. Today we're here at the creek to do a little bit of early fall fishing, and I thought now would be the perfect time to talk to you guys about what I believe are the top 5 baits for catching stock trout from coast to coast all across the nation. So let's not waste any time. Let's hop into this video. Let's talk about the top 5 baits. We'll put them to use. We'll teach you guys how to use them. We'll catch some fish and we'll have a good time. So let's get started. Go ahead and talk about our number 1 bait on the list for today's video, and that would be dough baits. As you can see here, we've got 2 brands of dough baits, one by Berkeley and one by pautzke, and all these are jars of dough that are made to smell and act like the pellets that the trout are fed in the hatchery. So all during their life, they're thrown pellets, and that's what they sustain life on. So they get really used to smelling them, knowing what they look like, and that's just simply what they feed on. So these companies make these dough baits, and they perfectly replicate the hatchery pellets. Now all you want to do is just reach into your jar, grab yourself out a little pinch, just like that, and ball it up into a little ball. This stuff is extremely buoyant, and it'll float. And all you want to do is just simply rig this onto your hook, form it around your hook, and make sure that you cover the entire shank, and you simply cast it out there. And this stuff smells and acts just like those little hatchery pellets, and they absolutely cannot stand it. And that's what makes this the number 1 bait for fishing for stock trout from coast to coast, guys. Let's go ahead and get in here. Let's put this application to use, and let's see if we can catch us one. All right, guys, as you can see here, we've got our little ball of dough bait all over and balled up around our hook here. And about 8 inches up the line, we've got a single split shot. Now this stuff is a floating bait, so you can cast it out and let it float along the surface, and fish will come up and get it. But it is by far the most effective on a weight, and just cast it out into the current and let it bounce along. So let's go ahead and get our ball of dough bait in here, and let's get started. Go ahead and plop that dough bait right on out there into the middle. Bite, we got him. Nice fish too, guys. Very first cast with the dough bait. This stuff is extremely effective. The fish absolutely love it, and this little rainbow here was no exception. He come right on over and got it. Now let's see how far he's got it down, and if we can unhook him, we will. But in most cases while fishing these dough baits, you simply hook the fish too deep and it will cause a mortality. This fish is no exception. He's got it all the way down. So all we want to do here, guys, is we'll just simply clip the line. We'll add him to our stringer, and we'll take him home. He's a gorgeous little dinner there, and there's no need to waste him. So let's pop him on a stringer, and we'll switch up to bait number 2, and we'll talk about how to rig and how to present bait number 2. Coming in at number 2, and some would believe to even be number 1, would be live bait. So as you guys know, fish in the hatcheries don't often see live bait, but sometimes during floods, maybe during the night, or just sometimes, sporadically during the day, a bug will make its way to the holding ponds. So these fish get kind of used to seeing the bugs coming up, and they learn how to feed on them. So for the most case, night crawlers, crickets, red worms work really well. But me personally, I love these butterworms. I made a video on these, and I'll leave it linked down below in case you guys want to learn about them. But this is just a little small live bait larva that I believe is one of the best live baits you can possibly buy in the entire world for trout fishing. But again, guys, any live bait comes in that number 2 space. Now all we want to do here, guys, is just rig up our little butterworm. We're going to start by the head and work its way to the tail. And as you can see, this is the exact same setup we was using our dough bait on. Still got some dough bait on my fingers there, as you can see. But it's the exact same setup, guys. Super simple. But what I will be doing with this particular rig is I want to put us a float on here, just to act as a strike indicator. So as our bait's bouncing along, we can keep up with it and get an indication for any bites that may occur. So let's go ahead and get our float on here. Let's get our little butterworm in here, and let's see if we can get us one on live bait. Opened up our separation about a foot there. We'll let it get down a little bit deeper, and just kind of let that old butterworm drag along the bottom there. And just like that. That's all we needed to do. Another gorgeous rainbow trout here. A little bit bigger than the last one. Gorgeous colors on this fish though. There we go. And once again, guys, live bait, super simple. Tons of options, and it just flat catches them. Popped right on out. Look at the colors on that fish, guys. I mean, absolutely stunning. Those pinks on that fish there, wow, gorgeous. Let's let her take right on off out of the net here. There she goes. All right, so let's go ahead and switch up to bait number 3 on our list of the top 5. All right guys, coming in at bait number 3 would have to be the trout worm. As you can see here, we've got some trout magnets, a couple of the Berkeley trout worms, and even the gold pinch crawlers. Any of these soft plastic trout worms that imitate natural bait is by far one of the best baits for trout fishing, and only comes second to the live bait. So let's go ahead and get rigged up, guys. We'll show you guys my favorite way to rig up my favorite trout worm, and that would be the Berkeley powerworm. So let's go ahead and get one of these little soft plastics rigged up and let's get started. But I would like to mention, guys, that any soft plastic fits into this trout worm category, and the trout magnets are excellent. The pinch crawlers have made a huge wave on the trout fishing game, and they're all really good. So when it comes to soft plastic, it's important to have several in your tackle box and ready to go. Let's go ahead and get ourselves our Berkeley powerworm rigged up on our exact same rig that we were fishing our live bait on. We've got the exact same hook, the exact same weight, and again, this application applies to not only the dough bait, the live bait, but also now the trout worm. And my favorite technique by far, guys, is just a simple wacky rig. You just drive it right through the middle, just like that. Leave your weight about the same, your float's about the same. You just simply cast that out, let that thing go along in the current, and the trout worm takes the number 3 spot because it's simply effective. So let's get in here and see if we can catch this one. Most soft plastics do fit into this category because you're simply casting them out and letting the bait, whether it be its motion or its attractiveness, do the work for you. It's not necessarily a scented bait, although these Berkeley pinch crawlers are scented. It still kind of fits in that soft plastic category. So guys, take that with a grain of salt when I say trout worms, because I do mean jigs and other soft plastics that are on the market today. There he is. Absolutely smoked that old worm. Absolutely crushed it. All right. So you might have to do a little bit of surgery to this guy. Yep, he's got it right in the roof of the mouth. All right, there we go. Another one there, and this one here took the soft plastics. And once again, guys, almost all soft plastics do fit in this category, but the trout worm is probably the top of that category. Let's let him go. There he goes like a rocket. All right, guys, let's go ahead and switch up to bait number 4 on our list of 5. The next bait in our list would have to be the salmon eggs. Now, as a lot of you guys know, salmon eggs are cured eggs that actually come from salmon. As you can see here, these are large king salmon eggs, and they're cured and scented. Just like the dough baits, these is extremely natural and scented to kind of replicate what trout like. But differently than the dough baits, the salmon eggs are more set to replicate the eggs that are released from female trout in the holding pens at the hatchery. And as the eggs are released from the females, all the other fish in the holding pen will eat them. So they kind of get a natural instinct to chase down these eggs and want to eat them. So as you can see here, pautzke is one of my favorite, and we've got the orange deluxe. And as no exception to our other baits, we're going to use the exact same rig. A simple split shot rig, same little weight, the exact same little hook, and all we want to do is just simply rig us up a couple of these eggs and cast it out. Now as these things go along the bottom, they'll bounce around and the fish will see them, smell them, and recognize this as something that they fed on in the hatchery before. And that's what makes them so effective and what helps them take the number 4 place in our race to 5. So let's go ahead and get in here, guys, and let's show you guys the effectiveness of these little trout eggs. And just like with all the other categories, guys, it's a good idea to have a good variety. We casted around those orange deluxe eggs and we didn't get any bites there, so we're going to switch up to these yellow jackets here. Slightly smaller egg, but cured in a very similar fashion. And just like with the live bait and those soft plastics, it's very important to have a variety of different colors and sizes, just because you never really know what particular pattern the fish will be on that day. So as you can see here, just a small little cluster of smaller eggs, and maybe this will be the trick that we need. So let's go ahead and get in here. We'll see if our luck will change any. Oh Oh, he was on there for just a second. Biting it. There he is. Nice one. He bit that little cluster of the pautzke yellow jackets. Let's get him right on over here into the net. There we go. Gorgeous fish there. Absolutely stunning. No surgery necessary for this guy. He's got it right on the side of the mouth there, which is good for him. Nope, he's actually got it so good he's went all the way through and wrapped himself around there. So I'll tell you what, let's do, guys. Well, he's actually got it in a better position here. Let's just turn it out. There we go. Got that one unhooked nice and easily. And again, guys, those natural salmon eggs just kind of floating along there. The fish see them and they remind them of what they've been feeding on, again, in that hatchery. And they just can't help it. It's just something that they're used to seeing and used to feeding on. So it makes it extremely effective. So let's let that fish go. And let's go on ahead and hop in to number 5, and what I believe can be the most rewarding and the most challenging of all of the top 5 baits in trout fishing. So let's not waste any time. Let's get number 5 out now. Coming in and taking our number 5 place in the top 5 trout baits for fishing for stock trout would be the spinner and spoon and hard plastic category. As you can see here, guys, we've got a spinner, a spoon, and a couple hard plastics here. And the reason these are all kind of in the same category is these are all reaction style baits. The fish do not come up to this and look at it and enjoy the smell or really give it a good look. They simply bite it because it's coming by so quickly that it just, sets off a natural reaction to want to come over and strike it and attack it. So that's what puts this in our number 5 category. And this is by far one of the most rewarding and one of the biggest headaches of all of trout fishing, because they either will eat it or they simply won't eat it. So guys, my favorite out of this category would have to be the spinner. As you can see here, it's just an inline Joe's fly, weighted spinner. And all you do with these is simply cast them out and reel them in. And that blade will spin at a very high rate, and it'll cause a lot of vibration and cause these fish to simply want to come over and eat it without taking any bit of safety or precaution to what it is they're actually feeding on. They just simply bite it out of reaction. So let's go ahead and get our spinner bait rigged up, and this will be what we'll use for our 5th category of spoon spinners and hard plastics. Well, guys, as I mentioned earlier, it can be a game changer or a headache. So we've had no bites in this hole, and before we go changing baits, I say we just switch up holes. So let's go ahead and head down the creek, see if we can find any success for this thing in a different spot. All right, guys, very first cast in here. Before I even had a chance to turn the camera on, this little beautiful rainbow trout here come over and absolutely smoke that old Joe's fly. Just let this little beauty take off right here. Take off, girl. There she goes. Heck yeah. Couldn't even get the camera turned on, that happened so fast. And like I was saying earlier, guys, sometimes it's a give and take. Sometimes you want to beat your brains out. Sometimes the very first cast, you get absolutely smoked. So we'll try to get us another one, but if we don't, we'll end the video on that one. And I got to admit, guys, although this bait can be one of the most struggles, it can be one of the absolute best, and that's why it fits in the top 5 category, hands down. All right, guys, we'll make one more cast in here just to see if we can get us one more on camera while throwing our little spinner. But I would like to say, guys, that all of the baits displayed in this video, I will have all of them with an in-depth application use link down below. But guys, keep in mind that all of the 5 baits that were mentioned in today's video are all my opinion, and that they may be kind of sorted differently in a row from you, or I may have left something out. And if so, be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think may or should have been in the top 5. Guys, get out if you can and enjoy this nice weather while we've got it. Fall and winter's on its way and those cold days are coming. So get out and have some fun. And if you get the opportunity, take a kid fishing and make some memories that'll last a lifetime. But as always, guys, be safe and tight lines.